Hopefully, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Capcom podcast. I'm Cameron, and I'm with Cameron, and with Cameron, and I'm going to turn this mic arm up a bit to kind of give me a little bit more mic-ness today. I hope I sound okay. Here's the thing. Everyone called in sick at the very last minute. And so unlike the podcast where I did it with, I forget her name now, for the menu, where we got someone last minute, we got no one last minute. And so here I am doing this all by myself. So here's the thing. If you're interested in joining us today and you're like, hey, I got some cool ideas and I know stuff about the original Snow White and I want to do some things, then join us. Join us today. Once in a lifetime opportunity. It will be me and also me. But usually we start off this amazing podcast with some updates on how everyone's life is doing. So that being said, I hope that you guys are doing well. Seb sadly couldn't join us today because his mom had to go to the hospital last minute. So if you could guys please do me a favor and go to his account and send him love and send his mom some love. We don't like when family's sick. It's a terrible thing. Anthony is at work. So comment about how much you hate work. Sure. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just kind of trying to figure this out for myself, and trying to see how I can kind of do this for myself, which is good practice because you're going to hear this first for the first time, you guys. I'm going to be doing a live stream of just me at the very end of the crowdfunding campaign that I'm currently situated in. And for those that haven't yet contributed, I will talk about that because that is something that I can talk about a lot of, especially because it's the only thing that I'm doing right now, seeing as I'm in between jobs and I'm trying to figure out my life. So here's the thing, you guys. I am working on my next short film called Split by Pond. If you haven't seen me or anyone or Capcom Productions or notoriously not stop talking about it because that is the only thing that is kind of showing up right now for me. We are doing a crowdfunding campaign. Within the first 15 days, we raised our full asking. So we were looking to crowdfund half of the campaign, and we're now at 109% of that. So we are now going for some stretch goals. I know the first one is we're gonna do like a Silly's mini video for our backers. 4,000 is Logan will be in the film. 5,000 is a public premiere that you can get tickets to, and then 6,000 is I'm gonna dunk myself in some sort of punishment while I give a thank you video. We're still looking internally what those options could be. Currently, we're looking at something like either ice bucket challenge or water balloons or slime or a paintball gun, which I hate that option, by the way. But if that's what the people want, I will do anything for us to raise $6,000 because this movie means a lot to me. It's a film about my life, what I've been doing, and how how I lived as a German American, and so you know, it is a super important thing to me, a super important story. I've been working on it for such a long time, and basically the end of middle of last year, I was workshopping it, and I had gotten very close to getting into a program, and they said, "We love you, Cameron. We think you're not ready yet, but we really love this treatment of yours, and you should make this into a film, and you should do this regardless." I said, "Fine." That was Split by Pond, and so after that, I went to a writer's retreat that weekend. I wrote for 4 days, the whole first draft. And so now here we are. But because of that, we're crowdfunding right now. That goes till April 7th. If you haven't contributed yet, please consider doing so. Yeah, that's been my little 5-minute spiel. and I put the link up in the comments. I don't actually know. Can I pin this? I don't know if that just pinned it. Let me actually check on YouTube. Um, I am trying to, I'm not new to this YouTube thing, but like I'm pretty new to this YouTube thing. Here, pin message. There. Now it's pinned, so that no matter how many people want to send me a message, uh, you guys can read it. But so yeah, so anyway, everyone's out. It's just me. And I'm just gonna talk a lot today about Snow White and talk about what that means and talk about all that stuff. One final thing, we did have a little Oscar show. It is in two parts because I was trying to test a new program, did not work like I wanted it to. So there it is. That's fine. But it is in two parts. So if you are interested in watching it, please do. We had a blast. We shouldn't have done it like that. That was a little bit of a mistake. Because we were doing a 37-hour film challenge, which we got into as finalists too. So Justin, Anthony, and I kind of all sat down together and made a movie in 2 days. And now we are here. We were there live streaming the Oscars while like preparing it, and I everyone hated me. I like to do stuff like that. All right, we already are starting to get comments on Snow White. So fun fact, I got tickets because I don't pay. I have like an unlimited card. So like if you live in the US, it's like an AMC A-list. And so I am gonna go see it. It looks interesting enough. I'm really excited to know what's gonna happen with that. Um and Ian, this absolutely beautiful man giving me something to work with over here. Basically what I'm thinking right now is we're gonna watch the original. We're gonna talk about live action remakes for uh Disney films and talk about how they've kind of been good or bad over the years. I love the hot takeness. Um and trying to kind of figure out how that works. But I mean, here's the thing. I do really much like the original Snow White film. It is a classic, and it's not only a classic. So we're gonna go. I don't think I actually prepped the banners because I forgot to. Because I forgot to. So we're just gonna put this up real quick. I'm not gonna talk about spoilers just yet. I'm gonna talk about uh what this movie means to the industry. Because that, I think, you know, as a director, as someone who loves to make films, it is so vital to talk about what it means for the industry. Um, uh, at least for me, I think looking at what that means and how we kind of look at that gives us a lot of, um, you know, looking into its history and talking about what it actually means for the industry. We can talk about its merits, and I love that you're like you understand its significance, and then you're still like it's an okay movie. Um, and like I'd love to know why. I don't know if it's because of the storytelling or if it's the story itself, right? Or what you kind of didn't like on it. But I'd love your thoughts. Um, but I'm just gonna go through the shtick real quick for anyone that doesn't know. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, which was the first animated feature film that was ever produced, was produced by Walt Disney. Um, and it was really the first film that was an animated feature film. It was, I believe, just around 90 minutes. Um, and so it really took everything uh and it really took everything that Walt Disney had learned throughout the years of making all these silly symphonies and all of these like other short films, um, and put them all together into one big feature film. Um, and so what this is the amalgamation of kind of putting a lot of tests together and bringing it to something big. And this was his big idea, and he had always thought about this and kind of try to figure out what's going on. Um, so here we are as a uh, film, as a film that's this animated feature using all of these old techniques and talking about this classic German tale, right? Snow White is this old story. I don't even think we're going to need spoilers really for this one. If you haven't seen the film, it is on Disney Plus. Go see it. Um, and so, just trying to figure out like it's about Snow White, who is the daughter of a king who was passed away, and who is now her stepmother is this queen. Um, and so what that kind of brings is the evil queen has this obsession with being the most beautiful of them all, and so going to the mirror, she asks who's the most beautiful one of all, and it ends up being Snow White at some point. And so she tries to kill her, or she has a huntsman kill her. And so it's this idea about Snow White kind of coming back up while the prince, there's a prince that wants to save her. And so, I mean, when we look on a super technical level and what that means, um, it's very fascinating in that it uses all of these classic ways of telling the animated film, looking at how they shot with layers and how they were able to create that layering concept, right? Through, I mean, literally, they would put everything in a box, have a camera at the top pointing down, and have these glass sheets that would basically create this effect of dynamic field, a depth of field that usually comes in when things are farther or closer away from each other. They were able they drew everything by hand and made everything super fluid. Um uh okay, we have a lot of notes here. Uh so not favorite Seven Dwarves. That's a hot take. I don't know. I never found them super funny. Uh uh but here we are. Uh, Here we are, and so like I agree. They're not the funniest. They're cute, but like I don't know. I never found anything that's gonna be super like funny. Storytelling. Uh sure. I don't know. I'm thinking about what I'd love to know when it's clunky. Um, um, and then as far as the character herself goes, I mean, she basically does, in my opinion, very little to herself as far as like how she controls the story. Because everything kind of gets controlled around her. So I can see how that's the most interesting character. I mean, when we're talking about the new film with Rachel Zegler, I think that's part of what's interesting. And that what they've kind of teased is that she becomes more of a forthcoming person. And it looks like from the trailers that she might be more of a resistance fighter than anything else, or in that vein, which I'm interested in. Like if we're gonna retell a story, then let's actually retell a story and give it a different meaning. I don't think we need to have a hold on telling telling the same story over and over and over again. I know, for example, Nosferatu had that same exact thing a lot. I mean, I loved it, but a lot of people had that same exact like critique of it, which was like, hey, if you're gonna tell a story, why don't you tell it a little bit differently or with some sort of twist? Which is like valid. I mean, I think that's a little different because that film was so old that like meh. But by the way, this is not alcohol for anyone that thinks it is. It's coffee because I drink cold brew coffee, so it's cold. Anyway, not all the songs. Yeah, "Hi Ho" is the timeless one, 100%. I'm trying to think of what other songs are in that film. Uh, what other songs in Snow White? Because I mean, there's it. I don't remember what song that is though. Um, uh, um, and then here, yeah, I mean. I have a very, like, tempered view on Wish. I actually thought it was quite entertaining. I wouldn't say it's, like, the best film of all time. I think the film and from what I've understood, uh, Swish basically was a lip service to, uh, basically giving a bunch of mini references to a bunch of films over the past 100 years, which I think if that's what you're going for, I think that is successful. It's not the strongest film of the Disney catalog. It is on one of the weakest ones, especially when we're talking about animated films. Um, but like, I don't know, I had fun watching it. I got emotional, um, talking about wishes and all that stuff. But like, I can't go here and say, "Oh man, this movie was amazing." But you know, and I see, and I agree. I think a lot of potential was kind of not there. Um, and I have my own qualms with present Disney. Um, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this specific conversation. Um, yeah. Scrabbles, yay, love you, Scrabbles. So while you work, yeah, true. Um, yeah, I wanted to watch the movie again. I didn't. I haven't watched it in like a couple weeks because I pre-watched it before. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna put on a spoiler ticker only because uh, you know, uh the question becomes, uh, give me a second. We might get someone because I am here talking to myself. It'd be cool if I'm not talking to myself. Um, just for my mental sanity, because I can then talk about the full film. Because like I think its strength is its technicals. Like, and I think that's not a hot take. I think the story is fine. I think the story is fun. I think it's not super, super deep. And that being said, it's technicals and the fact that they took the time to really uh, do these technicals on such a high quality for such a long time and like didn't like care. I think that's commendable because I don't think a lot of studios do that anymore, including Disney, by the way. So you know, I feel that's a hot take that I don't think is that hot. I think it's pretty cool. I feel it's a take that I think most people would agree with. I don't see the industry making a lot of films right now that are like super, super like, hey, this is very chill. And I, you know, here look at this cool new technique that I found. I think that's something that the industry is going away from, and I find that sad. I That's why I think a lot of films that I like think, especially in the pioneer age of that, it's the technical aspect and the fact that they pulled through. Um, but I wouldn't say that it's like the best. I think it's important for its history, but you know, uh, it's maybe the film I respect the most of all. Fair, and I get that. I agree with that. And but I think I mean if we want to have a cinema lesson, if that's something you guys would be interested in, especially for like a longer live stream of just me giving a lesson on cinema, I will be more than happy to do that. It'd be very cool. But we're talking about like things like Snow White and I do enjoy that movie. I wouldn't like it's not something where I'm like I need to put in 100 like there are some other films that I'm like I really need to think about this. But sometimes I'm just like meh. Like I can watch this film and not like be super super like concentrated and still like love it. You know? I don't know if that makes sense. Uh you know, but and I can still be like, "Man, I like this movie." Like, it's not my, like, top 10 films of all time, but, you know, again, uh, one of the main reasons why I chose this film is especially because it is, a film that, I really do enjoy watching, and because the new Snow White film's coming out, and I don't know what I'm thinking right now. Like I'm super like all over the place. It could either be good, it could be bad. Um, I think like my hot take, I guess, for this is that I think Rachel Zegler is a really good actress. I think she actually knows her stuff, and yeah, I'm trying to wait. So I gotta say that's a really good one. I connect more with the '90s Renaissance era of films than with the originals. Hi Leo,
Hello.
uh, who has now been put on this, even though he wasn't told until 2 seconds ago if he watched anything. So, hey Leo, how you doing, my friend?
Not so great. I'm incredibly hungover,
Ah.
and
Um, so we're talking about Snow White today. For those that you don't know, because not everyone always watches every episode, Leo is our amazing behind the scenes tech guy. But because everyone else like didn't tell me till super last minute that they can't come / forgot that this was happening today, I need a friend to talk to. I just realized this. So hi friend. Um how do you like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like the original Snow White? What is your thoughts on it?
um, Cameron, I did not watch this movie, but
You've never seen Snow White.
I think like the only version that I've seen is the Disney one, and well,
Wait, which one did you see? Which Snow White did you
the
see?
the Disney cartoon one.
Yeah, that's the one that we're talking about today, the really,
Ah,
really old one.
okay. Well then, that's different.
Because the
Yeah.
new one is coming out, at least in Germany, in 4 days. So we haven't seen the new one yet. That's why we're talking about the original today.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe slightly problematic, but very pretty and very like nostalgic. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I was talking with some people before that it's like not my favorite Disney animated film. I think though it's just so important as far as like the history of it goes because that Snow White film was the first animated feature film that was ever made. And so like I think just historically wise it's just so impactful. Um
Crazy.
but yeah. You're not going to watch the new one, right? You're
I
not
mean,
at least you're not coming with us.
did you already ask me?
I did for Thursday.
Then that's a no.
I
Yeah,
forget. I think you're busy that day because you
yeah,
have a
yeah.
life. I don't. Um, so I mean, I love this. Scribbles put this talked about their favorite Disney princesses. Who are your favorite Disney princesses?
I mean, like character-wise, probably the red-haired one. I forgot the name. The with the curly hair.
Area. Oh, you mean from Brave?
Uh, isn't this still? I have no idea. This is still.
Newer film or older film? Because red hair can either mean I forget the girl from Brave, or it could mean Ariel from Little Mermaid, who's like also I find to be a super like solid pick.
Merida is her name.
Merida.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I never saw Brave. Uh, it was yeah, the from Brave. I don't know. I somehow it like missed me. Like it was like in a weird time where like I just never saw it and was like, what the heck is going on? Uh, yeah,
Yeah, character-wise, definitely her, but design-wise, Mulan probably
Mulan is
because
also a solid pick.
yeah, she just looks very badass, and yeah,
That's fair. And also Rapunzel, good pick too. Especially I love Tangle. Tangle's a great
yes,
movie.
yeah,
Tangle's such a good movie. I really do enjoy it. I mean, since you weren't here, Leo, what have you been doing these past 2 weeks since you didn't you came in
Well,
later?
I've been incredibly busy at work because we um, basically rebuilt all of our media production machines. And
Perfect.
yeah,
Haha. Good
yeah,
that I don't have to be there for that anymore.
that's well, especially considering how painful it was to secure all projects that everyone working didn't save in our central cloud service, but on all machines spread out like I don't know. Yeah.
Nice. That's fun.
Mhm.
You do anything else fun outside of work, or have you just been at work all day and been not happy?
Well, um, I got drinks yesterday with some friends, but problem was this event was planned like a month ago, and I
Mm,
was like shortly invited to a birthday the day before yesterday, and so I haven't slept much in the last 2 days.
nice. Well,
Yeah.
then you will get some sleep in a moment, my friend. Princess and the Frog. Love that movie. I watched that again semi recently, especially back in September when I came back to the US and then I went to Disney World to go on the new Tiana's by Adventure ride, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie again, and I enjoyed the ride. I think the ride is also very fun. Uh, I don't know. Did you ever see Princess and the Frog, Leo? Is that a movie that you watched?
Uh, Not that I can really remember any of it. I mean, I remember how the Disney princess looked like, but story wise, I'm blank.
Hello.
Hello, I'm sorry.
Hello. Oh, you were done
So,
talking. I thought you just cut
yeah,
off.
no,
Love
I have
that.
no idea. I mean, I think the
Um,
frog looks amazing,
yeah.
high meme potential, but yeah.
Also, Princess and the Frog has a couple of like a bunch of really good songs in it that I like have on my like regular playlist as a mood. It is so much fun. Um, but we could go through the chronology, but I think Leo and you do this all the time, so I think you know what time it is now. You know what time it
Yes.
is now, Leo? You ready for it?
Huh?
It's time to
I'm going to
rate
rate that
that
movie.
movie. Man, that is the most in sync I've been with someone since since we started this podcast over a year ago. Wahoo! Um, thank you, Scribbles. You're amazing. Here's the thing. I
Okay.
feel like my judgment is always clouded when I watch this film because of its nostalgia, and I always give it a 10 out of 10. I think realistically, it's more like a 7 out of 10. But like I will pull, a ratings don't matter and just go off of the 10 out of 10. How about you, Leo? What's your kind of rating?
Um, I would say 3 out of 5 poisoned apples. I don't know.
Love that. Perfect. No notes. No notes, Leo. You just fit right in.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We are now gonna move on to the main event, which is we're rating all the classic remakes. Let's go. These aren't all of them. I just went on tier list and found one, uh,
Nice.
and wasn't bothered to do anything else. I know some of these. I don't know all of these. Leo, I don't know if you even know all of these.
Uh,
Um, and as
Definitely
I
not.
said, there are some. I know, like, there's a Peter Pan Disney remake that's not on here. There's a few. Um, there are some that I definitely want to talk about a lot, and there are some that I don't care about. I'll be honest. So,
Sure.
definitely the ones that I want to talk about is the Aladdin film, I guess we could do the original one, Alice in Wonderland. Johnny Depp, Alice in Wonderland. Beauty and the Beast. The original Maleficent. Cruella. Mulan. I don't know why they have the animated Lion King poster here, but I think that's the animated Lion King and Jungle Book. And we have about half an hour to watch them all. Let's talk about them all, not watch them. Gosh, no. Cause like I don't know, I haven't seen the new Christopher Robinson film, but I heard that was pretty okay, pretty good. But you know, I don't know how many of these have you seen.
I've definitely seen the Cruella one, the Maleficent, and have we watched the Lion King uh, movie
We watched
together?
this. We watched the prequel
Both of
movie. We watched the Mufasa film
them.
together.
Yeah, so not a lot.
Did you not see the new Aladdin film?
I did not. I've just heard not so great things about it, and then I went.
And I feel like the Aladdin film really summarizes what annoys me about all of these remakes and why I'm really concerned about the new Snow White remake. Cause like it's okay. Like I had fun watching it sometimes. I just feel like we're rehashing old stories. And I was talking about this at the beginning of the show. Like if you're gonna retell a story, then like don't just retell it with like some cool effects attached to it because it's live action, right? Like retell it because it actually means something.
Mhm.
I don't know how you feel, but that's kind of what my vibe is at the moment. Um,
Yeah, the only thing I can say regarding the Aladdin movie, I really like Will Smith for the internet memes that he gave in his role.
yeah,
But other than
yeah,
that, I think it's just like not a great basis. To, yeah,
because it's like here's the thing:
wasn't
you
taken
made
very seriously.
you made an amazing original Aladdin film with like an amazing original cast, right? Robin Williams being the first genie, absolutely iconic. Love that for everyone. He also has that energy. And I feel like what you have now tried to do is create the same movie with the same energy, but with different actors. And that just doesn't help, right? That just
Yeah,
makes things more annoying. And it's like you can't. And that's like the same issue that I have with like the Lion King too. I've heard the Lion King is better, but like it's still in the same range. Um, and
I feel
like the
like he's
same,
the
and
Lion
like I
King visually way
yes,
more impressive.
sure, sure. And like Beauty and the Beast, I find to also be kind of in the same range. Like I find it to be better than the others. But also people have issues with the Beauty and the Beast film, right? And with Emma Watson playing Belle and how she portrays Belle, and like with the scene, like her singing not always being on point. And I'm just like, why are we retelling these old stories? Like, yes, I will go see it because I don't have anything else to, I guess. But
Yeah,
like it's like all right, here we are watching these movies and we're watching the same film over and over again and we're not telling original stories and it just feels like we're watching it because we're watching it. I think the one film where like there's like two caveats with this or one caveat with this, and that's Jungle Book. I love the Jungle Book, the new Jungle Book film,
all right.
and a it's basically a guy in front of a green screen the whole time, but it doesn't matter because it's so well done.
Nice.
And I also think the voice acting is just like fun. Like they brought a couple bunch of like cool actors into it. Like Christopher Walken plays the orangutan, which that's a vibe and I love it. Um so yeah, I think that one's like the exception. Now you saw Cruella. How did you like the Cruella film?
Um, I had a lot of fun. Um, Visually also questionable, but yeah.
Why do you say questionable? I'm really interested in this explanation.
mm, well, I'm really not right. Maybe let me think about it again and say something later on.
Because what interests
Uh,
me about this film is just that it's a different story, you know? Like it's fascinating in how uh Cruella Cruella isn't like interested in telling like a story that was already done, but giving an interesting new story and a new perspective and building a character up. I believe there's a second Cruella film, right? Am I wrong?
that could, uh, yeah, you're right.
Right? I never saw the second one.
Yeah,
Uh,
but,
but they're or yeah, they're oh no, they're making a second Cruella film right now.
okay.
Uh, uh, and what I'm really interested in seeing is like this idea of how are they going to bring her, because I don't think she ends up looking like a bad person in this film. I feel she just ends up looking like a person who, uh, I wish we could have had like she feels like a person that had like vindication, and that just feels so
Yeah.
interesting to me and like so different that I'm like, this is cool, this is fun. How can we make this like better? And I feel like there's so much we there. I feel like there's so much more to this world that I'm excited to see what comes next. But it's just at least it was something different. You're using intellectual property to tell a new story. Um, and it's a vibe. It's for sure a vibe, and I think you have to be into that kind of like vibe. But
Um, I'm thinking like in this live action movie, she like much more reminds me of the CEO in The Devil Wears Prada.
sure,
Like somehow,
yeah,
I don't know. Like give her also some glasses and then I don't know. Give
make her
her
a little bit
very
older, and then
same.
you have Meryl Streep. Uh, yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, but where would you put that? Where would you put this film? Would you put it like in the good or in the great? I feel like it's either in the good or the great on this
Yeah.
list. Do we give it that
Um,
great or do we keep it at good?
I would give it great because like I feel like it really depends on how important it is to you that it stays faithful to the original, which well it doesn't, but like this isn't necessarily bad.
No, okay.
So
I need to go on this horse for a moment because I get this so much, especially with comic books. We're making a movie here, we don't need to stay true to comic books. Like we can deviate from a different story. It's not a one-to-one retelling. If we're doing a one-to-one retelling from a different medium, then I would get bored right away. You know what I mean? It's like this doesn't
yeah,
like there's stuff that we need to keep, but like also no, because like it's a whole different thing. I don't need to make my films like just like the comic books because someone's like, oh well, it's not true to the books. I don't care. Like we don't take books and make them one to one. That would make a book. That would make a movie from a book like 3 times the length. And I don't think people like trilogies as far as that goes. I feel that what I heard was people were not happy with The Hobbit being 3 films long. They could have made it into two, right? And like that's my thing. It's like movies and books or movies and other things are just very different mediums, and so we need to kind of like remember that.
yeah.
Now Maleficent. The Maleficent was the other one that you'd watched. What did you think of Maleficent?
I didn't really remember like the original material very much, but somehow I found Maleficent really like I really sympathized with her. Like I was told. So that like she was way softer in this reimagination than she was before, and visually I really liked it. Yeah,
No, you
but
don't think
also,
that Cruella did the same thing to Cruella de Vil?
mm, um, I'm sorry, I'm so completely out of the loop. Can you repeat that for me?
Do you not think that Cruella de Vil did the same thing to Cruella that it did to Maleficent, which is like humanize Cruella and like make her seem like less of like a just a pure bad human being?
Yeah, definitely. But like, uh, as I said, I didn't really watch the original material for Maleficent, so
I mean, what? I believe
I
that's the
could.
bad person from Cinderella, right?
Yeah, I have no
Put that next to
idea.
Cruella de Vil. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from your perspective, definitely.
And then you never saw the new Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter? 'Cause that's also a vibe.
Unfortunately,
I
I
f-
didn't.
Sorry?
I didn't, unfortunately, but yeah.
Because I felt it was fine. Like it was good. It was like it wasn't like the best of all time, but it was good. Yeah. So here we are.
Mm,
And then Mulan also just kind of okay. I feel like the biggest thing is like I feel like people are gonna hate us for like the Lion King rating, which is like fair. I just feel like what this kind of shows for me is like looking at a hard look at like how all of these like live action films just like don't look at it just aren't like creative enough. Like we're not looking at something interesting. Like there's a couple that are super interesting. I think the Jungle Book is the one that stands out above the rest only because it just like I felt it was very well done.
mm,
And I also thought Beauty and the Beast was pretty well done. But like there's nothing that's like truly amazing. And like the fact that like Pinocchio straight to streaming, Dumbo was a massive flop. Lady and the Tramp straight to streaming. The I think it's called Peter and Wendy was the live action remake of Peter Pan, also straight to streaming. Like a bunch of these went straight to like streaming and never had a release because it's just like they were not popular films. They made it as like padding, and I think it shows. I feel like it super shows, and it's just like super sad that that's like kind of where we're at. Um, and that Disney can't like just spend money on making original content. I don't
mm.
know. I feel like we can do better than that, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Leo. Do you have anything else to say about Disney live action remakes, which is a topic that you did not think you were going to be hitting
Yeah, definitely
today?
not. Mm, I mean, mm, the thing is, like those old like animated movies had so much charm, and even if they like really reimagine them and like creatively alter the story and so on, even then I feel like maybe they could remake some of them, like not really remake them, but like remaster them somehow,
Sure.
which would like probably be better for some of them
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think a big
instead of
part.
like
Yeah.
quote unquote reinventing the wheel, like just like give them new life so like new generations can watch them in like a more visually pleasing way, but like yeah.
I cannot agree more. I truly cannot agree more. Um, it's like how like I feel like that at least gives, as you said, new life into old art and makes it more, up to date. Um, I mean, this also I mean, I'm a live action guy myself, but I agree. But I also think we should be making more hand drawn 2D animation again, and not just like the CG 3D animation, right? I think if anything, something that, for example, a movie like Wish showed was that like there's an interest for 2D, but we need to do it like we used to do. There needs to be some sort of like love in it, and like especially when they brought back, I think it was called Wish Upon a Star, or I forget what the film was called, the short film that came before Wish. I really felt you could do better, and uh, yeah, I think, and again, I think it all boils down to like we need to create original stories, and that's what at least interests me about the new Snow White film a little bit, only because it's marketing itself as like a new kind of retelling, a new kind of storytelling, that we need to kind of come in and say, hey, look, this is the story. This is the film that we're doing. This is not, might be based on some character that you've known, but it's a completely new telling of a new story, giving us something interesting and something new. And I feel like that's missing from the industry right now. And I'm really hoping that we can bring that back at some point soon, because I think we really need it. I think the industry needs it. And thank you, mother, for agreeing. I don't know. I feel like I've had my piece with it. Leo, do you have anything else to add to this conversation?
Well, I feel like maybe we should also look out for like more indie studios and so on, like people who actually try to make movies like that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I cannot agree more, to be honest. But yeah, Leo, what are you doing the rest of this week? What are you doing for the rest of the day? What's up, my friend?
Today, sleeping, definitely. I have to catch up. And yeah, well, next week, also a lot of work. But then I'm free again. I can like uh, balance my overtime and probably,
Perfect.
yeah, have
Amazing.
free after that.
All right, you guys. Well, with those words, anyone that hasn't yet, please consider contributing to the crowdfunding campaign. We are just halfway done. I will remind you again in 2 weeks when we finish, when we have our next episode of the Capcom podcast, which I believe is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is going to be a very fun movie to watch, and talking about nerds in films. But yeah, with that said, I can't believe like last episode we ended, we had like an hour 20 episode. This week we're ending 10 minutes early. It is crazy what a topic can do. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Cameron.
I'm Leo, and
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.